Hi, I'm Jay, the happy colorist, and welcome back to my channel. As I promised you in my last Japanese book haul, I'm going to do a flip through of Eriy's newest book. As you may know, Eriy is the illustrator or the artist for the 3 romantic country books, which are also available in English. And then she also has another book out, this one, which is basically tracing around the world, where she shows single pages for each, for all kinds of countries, going around all of the world. And this one is the second book in this series, and it's basically tracing around festivals. So this whole book is based around the festivals around all of the world. Just as in her other tracing book, the gimmick of this book is that the lines are very, very, very faint, and if you color over them, they go away, more or less. This has the same size and thickness of the Tracing Around the World book, and also if I compared for you, I have one of the Japanese romantic country books, and as you can see, it's exactly the same size and almost exactly the same thickness. It's a bit thicker, but not by much. And I have a suspicion it's because the paper is thicker. It's pretty thick paper. It's a different publisher than her romantic country, the Japanese romantic country books. So. And it already, tells you here in the beginning that it has a little, you can cut out little figures. So, in the beginning, we have a little note by Eriy, and then we're already in the table of contents, so to say. And here in the beginning, that's a bit better. Here in the beginning, it shows you all pictures that are in the book, and it has a little blurb denoting which festival is shown, which the title is here, then in which country this is celebrated, also which city, if it's a special city, and this is denoting the date. And then there's a little description by Eriy. If you don't read Japanese, then unfortunately it might sometimes be a bit hard to figure out which festival is what. Because the titles are only given in Japanese, but for most of them you can figure it out. Or maybe you can find a way to translate some of these, because most of these aren't Japanese names. So it is readable if you only are able to read the katakana this is written in. So, for example, this is a festival. The Japanese dates are denote month and then day, just as the American does. So, let me just move so that it's a very big book. So just as with the American, this is the 12th of December and the 31st. 31st of December to the 1st of January. So this is obviously New Year's Eve, and it says here that it's specifically New Year's Eve as it's celebrated at Times Square in New York, USA. As this is a flip through, I won't go through all of these, but if you want to know if you want to know which for a single one, which actual festival it is, just let me know, and I'll do my best to translate it for you. My Japanese is pretty rusty, but at least for the little titles I can mostly read and tell you. So we go through all of the seasons. So this is all in January. I think this is actually Japanese New Year's, and again, it shows it's the 1st of January. So you can have a feeling for when these are celebrated. Let me just flip through the table of contents so that we can get into the actual pictures. So we have March here, and then we have April, and this is obviously Easter. And you can see here it only says the 3rd or 4th month. So either in March or April, because obviously Easter doesn't have a fixed date, and that's if there's not a single date given, then that's sometimes why this is. And it really just goes through all around the world. So I think this is Germany, for example. This is the US. This is Nepal, and so on. June, July, August. There's so many pictures. September, October. In October we obviously have Halloween here. And there are so many festivals I've never heard about. And so fun. November, and then we have December. Here she provides you with sample images, and if I understand correctly, she invites you to just try out your technique at coloring these things, like little borders, and here flowers, and here little animals, just to try and see how you would could color them. And then she gives, as in the other book, she gives a bit of instructions how you could go about coloring. For example, in the end it could look like this, if you want to, because the whole point of it is to trace it. And then she gives samples, illustration samples of some of the pictures, and it's a bit like the recent Kirby book, in that people on Instagram colored these, and she gives the name of the person who colored it. The original picture is here, and this is the colored piece with a bit of a description and a comment from Eriy down here. So it's just to give you little ideas about how you could go about coloring these. I love this with the white Christmas tree. This is so sweet. And then here she gives you some examples about mediums you could use. So, and then here we go into the actual coloring pages. As you can see, the line art is very faint. I'm going to edit this video a bit to have the line art show a bit better, but this very faint way is how it actually looks. It's just if I do a flip through and you can barely see the lines, then what use it? But it's very, very faint light gray. So as I just said, this is New Year's on Times Square, and it shows the year 2020 because she's already in the future. This released in 2019, so at least for a year this isn't super outdated. I can't tell you all of the festivals. I have translated some of them for myself, so if I remember which is which, I can indicate. I think this is supposed to be Canada. I think this is the Netherlands, the Tulip Festival, as you can see. And here you have little masks. And a pirate with a parrot. To me that looks a bit like Halloween, but apparently that's a pirate festival. This is New Year's Day in Japan. With all the things that are supposed to bring you luck, and the temple gate. That's another costumes. This is one of the pictures that was colored in the beginning. This is Carnival in Venice, so this shows Italy, Venice in Italy. I think this is a Tibetan festival. And I just, love this because since we as colorists, we are so international. So I'm sure everybody, every one of you will find at least one picture in here of a festival that is celebrated in their country. And I'm sure you could tell me, you would recognize and could tell me so much about it, just as I can tell you about some of the German festivals that are in here that you might not know about. This is obviously Valentine's Day. And again we have a carnival, but this one is the obviously the Brazilian one. This is an Indian festival, the one with all the colors. I'm sure you've seen it in the newspapers. We always have pictures of it in the newspapers. It looks so fun. That I don't know what it is, but I think the table of contents said it's a festival that's celebrated in Belgium. So hi, if you're watching this, let us know. This is another one of the pictures that is shown as an example in the beginning, and I think it's a French festival, the Lemon Festival. And this is Russian. And we're still early in the year, I think somewhere in late February, March. This is Hina Matsuri in Japan. It's the Girls' Day. This is a Spanish festival in Valencia, I think. This is, as you can see, indicated as St. Patrick's Day, and you can see the little goose that follows us through all of Eriy's books. That's so sweet. This is Norway and the dog sled or sleigh race. And now we have Easter, as you can see. And this is such an interesting festival. I was just immediately drawn by the dragon. And I think I translated it as a Spanish festival for St. Jordi's Day. So if you're Spanish and you recognize this piece, let me know what this is actually about. This is a Swiss festival. Something about a bell tolling at 6 p.m. signifying the end of winter. And this is actually the first German festival that is in here. I think it's one of my favorite pictures in here, not least because of the kitties. And you can see there are kitties here and a little cute witch. And this is supposed to be Walpurgis night at the end of April. Which is said to be the night where all the witches come out and fly on her broomsticks around the mountain and dance around the bonfire. It's such a sweet picture. This is Spanish too, I think. In Sevilla. This is supposed to depict Italy, Florence in Italy, and it's one of the this is either depicting the day of Corpus Christ or Corpus Christi, I don't know what it's called in English, or Ascension Day, one of these holidays that come after Easter. I think this is supposed to be Nepal. And I love this. This is England, and I think it's supposed to show a flower show I don't know, but I just love the little garden. This is a festival I have never heard about. It's supposed to be an American festival, the Jumping Frog Jubilee. You know, if any of you knows what this is about, you know, please let me know. I think it looks so funny. This is, I think, a Belgian festival again, called, as I said, Kattenstød. I'm sorry about if my, you know, pronunciation of this is completely wrong. Super cute. This is another German one. I think this is supposed to be in the Philippines. So I think this is Thai. Can you see that? Looks like the top of a temple, maybe? And this is a Chinese festival I couldn't figure out which. This is the boys' festival, like the Girls' Day festival that I showed before. This is the Japanese one, and but nowadays the whole thing is just Kodomo-no-hi, like Children's Day for all children. But this is the boys' version, as you can see with the weapons. This is a rose festival in Bulgaria, so you can see all the roses here. I think this is supposed to be Norway and the Summer Solstice Festival. I'm translating all of these from the Japanese description that you saw in the beginning, so some of these might either be incorrect by design because they're giving in Japanese, or my translation of the translation from the Japanese. So, you know, if there's one festival you see and you know what it actually is and I'm incorrect about it, just please let me know. Oh, isn't this sweet? Oh my god, I think this is supposed to be Latvia, Riga, and apparently this is the forest festival where there's crafts displayed in the forest. Just, oh god, look at the little one. This is a Peruanian festival. I couldn't figure out what it is. I think the Japanese translates to something like Inti Raimi or something. This is the Red Sails Festival that is held in Russia. And as the city had indicated, it's St. Petersburg. This is the Open Garden Festival in the Netherlands, especially in Amsterdam. And if I understood correctly, it's just this one day, then places that are usually closed to the public, especially gardens, open. Isn't this pretty? This is the Roswell Ufo Festival that is held, obviously, in the US in Roswell. I think it's a kitty, could also be a dog, it's so sweet. This is something you might have not expected. This is obviously Alice in Wonderland, and this is this corresponds to Alice Day in the UK in Oxford. Didn't even know that something like that existed, but there you go. This I don't quite know. It's supposed to be, I think, a Portuguese festival, something like Ageda Guarda or something. Does that make any sense to any of you? This is supposed to be a German festival that I can't figure out which is supposed to be. It's a children's festival. This is a Chinese festival, the Taima Festival, I think it said. This is the National Mask Festival in Papua New Guinea. And this is a festival in Sri Lanka where I couldn't quite figure out the name. This is, as you can already see in the description, powwow from Canada. And this, I love this. This is supposed to be a Belgium festival, the bathtub regatta, and just isn't that the sweetest thing? With the little goose here and this is a Cuban festival in the Havana Carnival or something like that. This is Hina Matsuri in Japan, in Akita Prefecture. This is supposed to depict a pottery festival in Poland. So, and this is supposed to be an English festival. The horn dance. I don't know what this is. Please let me know in the comments if you do. This is an Italian festival. Something about a romantic story that's the basis for a chess piece. It sounded interesting, but I have never heard of it, and I couldn't correctly translate it. It translated to something like human chess, which obviously doesn't make any sense. So, any Italians out there, please let me know. This is an Austrian festival, and again the goose. I just love that, you know, the little goose is just, you know, with us in all of her 5 books now. And this is the festival that when you get the cows and the sheep and such from the mountain down at the end of summer, in autumn, where they had been grazing all summer. So the cows get nice, you know, decoration and big bells, and it's a huge thing. So this is obviously German too. This is, as it says, Oktoberfest in Munich. It's like Goroka show or something, it's at in Papua New Guinea again. I don't know what it's about, but as long as you can, you know, kind of tell the name, what it's supposed to be, then you can always Google and, you know, I suppose then find out what it is and then color accordingly if you want to. This is supposed to be a Hawaiian festival, the Aloha Festival or something. This I couldn't correctly figure out what it's supposed to be. I think it said something of Festival of Light, but obviously it has something to do with dogs. I don't know. I think it's a Nepalese festival. So we are coming up onto October now, so this is obviously Halloween and the goose is there. The description said this is supposed to be Salem, but of course, you know, Halloween is celebrated everywhere. This is the Golden Eagle Festival in Mongolia. You can see just the steps and the horse, and I love this picture. This is Thailand, a Thai festival called Khom Loi, if I got it right. This is supposed to be the Albuquerque International Festival or something in the US. I think this is the only African festival. This is the International Kite Festival in Cape Town in South Africa. So I bet you can make them so colorful, and look at the little bird, he's just looking at the kite. This is Malaysian. I also couldn't figure out quite what it is. I think it's the Hindu Light Festival. So since we're in October, or I think at the end of October, early November now, this is the Day of the Dead in Guatemala. This is the Monkey Festival in Thailand, and just look at the little guy. Oh, it's so sweet. This is the Mother Goose Parade in the US, it indicated that it's supposed to be San Diego. I don't know whether you only hold it in San Diego or whether it's a thing all around the US. And it's, of course, you know, before Thanksgiving, which I think is a bit mean, but, you know. And again, this is the Day of the Dead for Ecuador. And you recognize those skulls. This is the Day of the Dead for, so Dia de los Muertos, from Mexico. This is a Japanese holiday where I couldn't figure out the title of. And now we're at the end of the year. This is the US Christmas with the Christmas tree and the little kitty sleeping in the fireplace. And we've seen this as one of the pictures that was colored in the front of the book. And, which I think is really cool, this is Christmas in Australia, Australian Christmas. So, you know, you can really make this very cozy and cold with the fireplace and then just have the blazing sun here. I just love the two pictures side by side. I don't think I've ever seen an Australian Christmas in a book. So for all your Aussies, there you are, you're represented here. This is the Saint Lucia Festival in Sweden. This is supposed to depict a Christmas market in Germany, which of course isn't a festival per se, it belongs to Christmas, but I like that she included it here with the little stalls and snow. This is a bit of an odd one in the in the all the wintry scenes. This apparently is the Night of the Radish or something for Mexico. That I couldn't figure out. It's Switzerland. This is a Romanian festival called the Bear Dance. And this is New Year's for Japanese, where you go to the to the temple and the bell will toll the beginning of the new year. And at the end of the book, you get a couple of little figures that you can cut out, and she has indicated which country the little figures belong to. So this one is Bulgaria, this one is Russia in English, so you can read it. This one is Switzerland, the cat is Belgium. This is also Belgium. This is Germany. They correspond to some of the pictures in the beginning of the book. Also Germany. This is the Hameln one. This is Peru. Papua New Guinea. Romania, the bear we just saw. And yeah, then you have this little, like you can cut this out and glue it together, and then you, I don't know. I don't even, yeah, you can use the little figures, I don't know, to play. And with that, we're at the end of the book. So, I really like this book. I enjoy that she has included, just like with her Tracing Around the World, she has included so many countries that usually are not represented in books like this. And again, she has chosen so many different festivals I have never heard about, and I'm excited to pick a page that I just like the look of, and then look up the festival and the meaning of it, and then color it accordingly. You don't have to, but of course you can just get inspiration by it. And as you have seen, some of the pictures are actually more like less intricate than her usual style. Like this one has pretty big spaces, whereas this one is pretty detailed. So there is a mix of both. A mix for everybody, and I just love her style, and I love that, you know, that little goose is following us everywhere, and she has little kitties everywhere. So if you love Eriy's style, and if you liked the Tracing Around the World one, or if you just, like me, really like something that's has such a strong theme, so that you can just look at it and go, like today is mid-April, for example, so I could just look up April and see whether that'd be one that would, you know, fit the mood, like Easter, for example, and then just color that. So this was Tracing Festivals by Eriy. Highly recommend this very sweet book if you like her style, even though this one actually has more text than the usual coloring book does, because all of the festivals have little descriptions. You can color it without understanding or reading Japanese, and I think I hope I gave you hints to most of the festivals as well as I was able to. But I really wish this would be translated, because then it would be such a wonderful resource to learn about all kinds of countries. As always, thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope we'll see each other soon in the next one. Bye!